All right, you guys. I have an idea. What if we fake a wraith heist? We pretend to be them. It peeves them, right? We'll do it better than they could, and then we'll leave a calling card that makes them want to reach out and talk to us, and it's just an entry level spooky heist, right? It just what if we steal, right? Hear me out. It's super easy, barely an inconvenience. We steal the Weeping Lady's death mask.
I feel
Right?
like there may be a couple of missteps there with entry level and then Weeping Lady Death Mask. I feel
Listen,
like
no. It's super entry level, right? She was one of the first. She's one of the first. First equals entry level, right? Right? Super easy. In and out. Smash and grab. Calling card. We got an in. That's all we have to do. We just steal the mask and pretend that we're the wraiths.
Where is
Hestia.
the mask currently?
It is held in the Church of Ecstasy in, or the Sanctorium, which is in Brightstone, an enormous stone monstrosity that dominates the skyline, flying buttresses and near carved and hewn from near black stone, almost obsidian in nature, and is the core center for worship of the Church of Ecstasy in Dusk.
That sounds like a terrible idea that's gonna kill us all. I mean,
Well, your choice is death by curse or death by trying to solve the curse. So
just dead
telling
by cool.
I'm telling you, it'll be in and out, smash, grab, calling card. That's all we have to do.
Nathan kind of mutters underneath his breath. Maybe I'll get to punch Melstrisa in the face then, since we're there.
I mean, sure. Punch everyone while we're there.
the first Lord Governor's death. Yeah.
You don't think this
Yeah,
is
an
a little?
interesting object.
You don't think this is a little reckless, Hestia?
No. I'm telling you. First is entry level, right? You have to start somewhere, so you start with the first. We'll all get masked. No one will see your faces. It'll be fine. Just don't even worry about it.
So,
I think we're all very worried about it, Hestia, but I'm sure you know what you're doing, right?
Yes. Yes, I do.
on that note, let's ask those questions. Is this plan especially bold or daring?
I think it's just entry level.
Yes. The answer to that question is yes. Do not listen to Hestia right now.
Plus one there. Does this plan exploit a vulnerability or hit your target where they're weakest?
Putting them in the pride?
Well, one, the Church of Ecstasy has no idea we're coming. Like, this is so out of left field. And it's such a roundabout way to meet the Wraiths, so it's even hitting them kind of in a weird spot, too.
I'll buy that. Can any of your friends or allies provide assistance?
I have an answer to the other side of that because my enemy is the priestess, which is the person that I was going to say, that I said I'm going to punch in the face.
That's any other factors that you would like to consider. That actually is a -1, yes. So friends or allies, anyone that you're...
I'm BFFs with the city clerk, Miss Petra. I can't think of a way to cross that church/state boundary line.
Probably not for this one. Anyone else?
Vampire friend. Can I ask him to do vampire stuff? Somewhere else in the building to attract guards or people.
Oh, I'm going to say that's going to take a roll because...
That's putting him at risk.
And also, there's a slight different mentality. It's this somewhat indifference to the goings-on of the general population. So I'll say, yeah, make a roll, see if likely you consort for that one.
So, yeah. One. That's 4.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't quite know what he's going to do, but he might do something. And lastly, any other factors that you would like to consider?
Already mentioned the priestess that I'm going to punch in the face.
Yeah, I've got that. They are a higher tier. And Nathan, would you like to start this job high?
I mean, if we're going like straight there, I'm already high, so I feel like that's already answered.
Which puts you at 1 die on the engagement.
Let's do
Here we go.
Can I roll this?
If you want to, absolutely.
All right.
Just before we do, does anyone want to gather any information?
I would love to gather information.
Yeah, sure thing. What kind of thing are you going for?
I would love to. I'd love to go talk to that fence, the one that the Wraiths and I share.
Mhm.
I'm sure they are selling finery, and I am like, look at this pocket watch. But I would love to have a convo about to see if I could get a step closer to emulating the Wraiths as far as style or dress or some sort of
For sure.
that way. That sounds like sway to me, or is that consort?
Sway works. Yep. You don't have a personal relationship, so
All right.
sway is absolutely right.
5's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. So yeah, arriving in Deadly Sins, you're aware that very, very short term, as you're aware that 2 bluecoats are making their way down the street, and as you arrive, it's literally grabbing this bundle that's been laid out on a rug, beginning to put the 4 corners together and make a hasty exit.
I do this?
No, he's doing this. Blue coat
Oh.
is coming down, and he's got a load of stolen goods that he's trying to hawk.
Oh, I would love to help, and like as we're running away, like, hey, tell me about the race.
I've never dealt with him myself. So, he sort of ducks into a side alley, kind of pulling your arm. He's like, I've never dealt with them myself. It's always by proxy. They send someone who can't. It's been a while. Last one was she could hardly see. Walking along with I had a stick, and they'll send someone like that. You know, can't identify anyone.
Oh, that's so forward thinking of them and inclusive.
Yeah, that's purely why I do it, I'm sure.
It's important that we help those who are less for. These guys seem so nice. Man, the more I find out about them, they just seem so cool. Okay, well, what was? Do you have anything I can like that smells like them, or anything that you can have as like a trinket?
I ain't got a couple of trinkets, but I've got two things, and he does sort of two fingers and crosses them like that, and taps them together twice. He's the other one as well is he goes. Now I've saw a couple of figures making those signs once. Didn't see faces, didn't see nothing else, and I've got no idea what they mean, but
Okay, cool.
hopefully it's something you can work with there.
All right, she does like a shaka, and it's like awesome.
As there's a whistle from the end of this alleyway, as the blue coat stands there, like finger in the corner of his in each corner of his mouth, and this guy just looks up and goes, "It's been wonderful," and just runs like full on sprint. This bag like clattering against the walls as he runs.
Okay, cool.
As two blue coats like just push past you. And it's
All right, awesome. Okay, so that's like the more check, or like the check please sign, and then like surfer shaka.
There's one which is that one, and the other one is that. It's whatever they mean. It's part of their elaborate communication system, but he's got no idea what either of those things mean.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I find look up the I don't know what that technically means. The papers with the maps of the building. If there
Oh, they're public. They're
Any-
public record.
just the library has
So you can do that. You can do that in Charter Hall. It's +1 on heat, but you get a +1 to your gather intelligence roll.
Yeah.
I've also realised that because this score is in Brightstone, it's another -1 for heavy blue coat patrols. So
How dare I pull that up? I knew that was gonna eventually. You were eventually gonna
Yeah.
read that under trade.
yeah, no, I suddenly just remembered. So Hestia, if you want to make the engagement roll, it's roll 2 dice and you take the lowest.
Wow.
And while Omen does the, but you might get +1 depending how Omen does it on these records, because they are public.
Study?
That works, yeah. I was going to say just wait for a moment because you might get a +1.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
So you +1 heat, but what I gain what?
Yeah, it's +1 heat, so that's my side of things.
Okay, and nothing else. Okay.
Yep. So study.
5.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So you're able to find some rather old blueprints. They're not. There's been scaffold out the front of the building itself, and so renovations have been done since then, and the records here have yet to be updated. So there might be a couple of things that are a little bit out of place or that have changed. But Hestia, you had a +1 to the engagement roll, so you got 1 die
All right.
with an idea of the internal layout.
All right, here we go. Hey,
Risky position, and as you survey the building from the street, a very imposing, towering construct, which people come and go from all hours of the day. Some of them there for actual services, while others come to just offer prayers. The Weeping Lady being one of the key patrons patron deities, which is recognized in the Church of Ecstasy. Yeah.
Are we all there, or is it just Hestia?
No. You're all there now. The score begins. From within the building as well. You hear the constant, almost rhythmic chanting that seems to come from within. Almost a kind of Gregorian chant from an ever-present chorus.
Because me personally, I'm curious, what type of mask did everybody bring?
Pretending to be the wraiths. Yes, you need a mask. Nathan, I think you've got something in mind. Do you want to?
Nathan's garb is actually a little different. It's a set of tattered blackish brown robes. And his mask, if it wasn't so tattered and broken, you would recognize it as a Spirit Warden's mask.
There's no light in the eyes, and
like
there's
one eye's
dents in it.
cracked, there's a tear down the actual beak of it, but it is, if you look at it, you can clearly tell it is a Spirit Warden's mask.
Probably dented. They're made of copper or bronze. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, multiple dents and kind of couple of cracks in it and things like that. So, does anyone else have an idea for their?
Yes, I have a paper mache rabbit from a younger sister's birthday party. There is a bit of finger paint on the cheek. There is children's smudges all over it, and I'm currently eating the last bits of birthday cake.
You forgot to say our load.
Not yet. I was about to ask that. So, Nathan.
Load heavy.
Omen?
Normal.
Lottie? Lottie, what load are you taking?
Normal.
And Hestia?
Normal.
Cool. Great stuff. Outside and in the under the dark canopy of the and amongst the statues that make up what is called the charmingly named Bone Garden, of this very, very almost macabre graveyard with multiple effigies of embodiments of death that adorn the tombstones. Figures of the Grim Reaper, whereas others have much more of a that particular nation's personification of death itself as these great elaborate carvings. The actual death mask is held within the building itself, and is on public display, but contained within a a perpetually locked box, mounted in quite a predominant location where people can see it. Brass plaque underneath, identifying it as the death mask of the Weeping Lady, First Lord Governor of the Dusk, and it does have a glass front, so you can see the mask itself. Itself with cast in a mixture of bronze and silver, and of course a silver teardrop on each cheek.
Told you guys, entry level. It's out in the open.
At the moment, you are outside the building, which itself has an ever-present stream of visitors and patrons. While inside as well, it's populated by the practitioners and this, like I said, this chorus who chant in this Gregorian manner constantly, and of course you've got the various elders and preceptors and initiates and all manner of personnel within the church.
Oh yes, so easy. Just steal a very public mask in a very public location in front of the public.
Yeah.
His voice is still somewhat muffled from the mask.
Yeah,
What do we do?
that's it. What are you doing?
So is the area that the mask is on display in? Is it in like a courtyard open, or is it?
No,
like...
it's inside the main building. So entering into the church, into the sanctorium, there is a main entranceway, and then there's this enormous ribbed vaulted ceilinged main area for filled with pews, and there is pillars lining it. There is about a third of the way down. There is a central pillar. There's only two of them. Two-thirds of the way down, and it's mounted on that first central pillar.
We should go inside, right, you guys?
Please, you came up with this, you lead.
Okay. I'm going to remove my mask. I am going to follow the line of worshippers. The people going into the building. I'm going to do my best to hum along respectfully, and make my way inside, unseen, hopefully.
Mate, I'm going to say for that, make me a check.
Okay. I'm also down to lead a group action if everyone wants to come in this way.
I don't think Nathan would in this case. I think
You would, or you?
I think Nathan would actually just kind of walk in, keeping his head somewhat down to try and hide some of the damage to the mask, but otherwise he's just gonna kind of walk in, mask on and all.
I mean, it's yes. Does any? Okay, so I'm going to say that's. Is so? Are you actually going in with Lottie, who is also not Lottie? Sorry, Hestia, who's also just walking in.
She's trying. From my understanding, she's going in more as a patron, while I'm kind of not. Not
Okay,
in the
I'm gonna
same
say that's-
context as her, at least, where it would require a role.
Okay. So I'd say you can both make me separate roles, but yours is to.
Okay. I'm not affected by quality or tier.
Great stuff. Oh, okay. Success with a complication for Hestia. Does anyone else want to join in on that group action, by the way? So you all roll per hour, and you take the highest result as a group, but any failures, Hestia takes 1 stress per failure.
And for my role, can I argue a tune, since I'm walking in as somewhat of a spirit warden-esque individual?
I'm going to say that you can roll it, but it will be limited effect and a desperate action, because that's to deal. Attune is more dealing directly with ghosts and the ghost field.
True.
Do it.
Can I do that instead?
Again, limited effect, desperate action.
Yeah.
I mean, anything else I roll is going to be 2, take the lowest. At least this one's a 2. Make a 6.
Still limited effect.
It's still limited effect.
Desperate. Limited.
And a crit on that. A limited crit. And is that sorry? It's a. How many dice do you have in Prowl? Is that roll 2, take the lowest, Lottie? You actually take the 6. Okay, nice one. So the two of you, so both Hestia and Lottie, kind of breaking away and going in more from the patron side of things. You are able to follow a group of very, very somber-looking individuals who are making their way in, and you kind of just join in at the back and follow their lead. Those of you rolling a tune, you're able to do something similar. However, you are decidedly aware of presences. This place is almost sort of pulling them in. And I'd like both of you to take, I'd say, actually on the crit you can negate it, but it'll be a level 1 harm of uncertain. Oh, not uncertain. That's no, it's slightly shaken.
Shaking. I was like, uncertain.
You can of course resist.
Why not? I'll attempt to resist.
It will work. It's just how much stress you take, but you won't take any damage.
All right. So this is resolve. I'm assuming.
Yes, it is.
I'll take 1.
So you take one stress, but no damage, as you're able to you feel your heart beat a little bit faster. You're able to talk yourself back down. But you are very aware, both of you, that there is something that has latched its attention onto you. You're not sure what it is, but it's something. Almost like you've been watched.
Okay.
Lottie and Hestia, as the group that you make your way in disperse and begin to go off their own different ways, you see a couple of them go to light candles, whereas one of them steps towards one of the particular statues, which depicts one of the very old forgotten gods, a demon who is presented as holding a mask in each hand in that sort of typical tragedy comedy theatrical mask. And they stand in front of it, and you see them repeating almost kind of almost kind of like with a rosary-like item in their hands that they sift through as they offer prayers to this figure. Where would you like to go? You can see that central pillar. You can see the box mounted onto the side, which itself below it. Also, and around the sides of the box and into the very ornate carved wood, you can see that multiple messages have sort of been pinned. Usually requests to the Weeping Lady herself.
I'm gonna wipe my hands, wipe the vanilla icing off my hands onto like a parishioner next to me, and as I make my way towards the box, the little shadow box, I'd like to get a feel for like exits or ways of having an escape quickly. Like, is there are there like ceiling holes, like a balcony or any sort of like hatch that way?
I'm gonna say make me a check on that one.
Okay, that sounds like survey to me.
Survey is perfect, yeah. You're looking up, you see that obviously aside from the way you came in and an enormous bell tower that reaches up into the sort of almost disappearing into darkness above you. You are acutely aware of someone looking around. You don't recognize them, but they're the sort of the practiced glance and the way that they see it, they recognize the look. Likely an off-duty blue coat who can spot somebody casing against somebody just looking around.
Like, oh wait, so I'm sorry, a blue coat just clocked me?
Yeah.
What's
Like
a blue
spots
coat?
the parishioner. They're not in the blue coat, but you spot the look.
Okay.
They can spot the difference between somebody casing and somebody just looking around at the architecture. And everything almost seems to your vision almost seems to go into kind of narrow, and you hear their feet. The other sound seems to like drop away as you focus on them as they stand up, and it's their footsteps on the floor just echoing around as they make their way towards you.
But they don't have any authority here.
It's a blue coat. Let's be honest, they're a gang of thugs with a badge. I don't think authority means anything. Whatever you do next, it will be a desperate action.
I love this. I don't. They don't have any authority here. I'm not going to resist that. All right, I'm gonna.
Oh no. Oh no.
Do something stupid.
I guess I see them, they see me. They've clocked me. I know I've been clocked. I'm going to approach them and inquire about the they're blue coat, they have no authority here. They must know that I'm looking for something, and they're here to help. So I'm going to ask them about the history of the mask. I'm going to ask if they've ever added something to the notes, and then follow that up with like, what should I ask for?
This is a very desperate action.
Yeah, this sounds like sway.
It's probably consort.
Oh, I love consort.
Although whatever you do is limited effect desperate action, so.
Can I push myself for a higher effect?
So, desperate action, normal effect.
Yeah.
2 stress, yes.
2 stress. I'm also gonna be a daredevil about this, and take a second die to take a -D on that resistance roll that I'm probably not gonna take either.
Oh. It's looking. The figure like pushes their way towards you, and as they get a little bit closer, as you start talking, they look around to see if no one else is looking, and push you backwards and pin you up against the wall, kind of scruff the collar, and it's like, this is not a place where I would like to see violence done, but I will make exceptions if need be. Lottie. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Shoot him.
I'm gonna shoot someone in the spot. I'm gonna try to cause a distraction.
Because if you don't shoot him, I am.
What are you doing for a distraction? And yes, I was going to say, this is a +1 because you've been set up, essentially. This guy is currently yet to start throwing punches, but once again...
Do not put the church on fire. Do not put the church on fire. I'm not going to shoot him, but I'd like to shoot a bullet from maybe somewhere he can see me in. To make it look like someone outside is starting a fight, and maybe get their attention and make them go outside after it, I think.
So you're going back out and shooting, just firing a shot?
Yeah, maybe it's something that does a lot of noise, like something metallic. A big down, and
Okay, I'm going to say make me a check. You've obviously got like the big bell tower, which does have an enormous cast iron bell sat in its. Omen, Nathan, anything that you would? Oh,
What was it? Can Prowl work here?
rec works, yeah. Everything's a +1 because you've been set up as well. This guy's attention is.
I was asking, not Rec, Prowl.
Yes, I'll say prowl works. But yeah, obviously once you've taken the shot, then you're kind of giving away your secrecy, any kind of secrecy.
And
What did you get? Sorry, just oh,
Great.
the figure on the inside, Hestia, you would see as he just kind of glances over, is that you see he visibly bristles as the gunshot goes off. However, it's not enough to divert his attention away from you. However, outside, Lottie, you hear nearby Blue Coat Patrol as 2 dogs begin to bark, and you hear cries and whistles begin to go out, and you see the crowd, just before they disappear into the fog, begin to turn and look with consternation as panic begins to set in as the gunshot goes off.
wait, that's what.
Inside, Omen, Nathan, you hear a gunshot go off. What would you like to do?
We see that Hestia is pinned up against the wall, right?
Absolutely, yes.
I kind of lean over to Omen and I'm like, you take care of that, or should I?
You're here, I go try and get the mask? No, let's do the opposite. Or the opposite. No. Use the commotion to go get the mask. I try to deal with this. Does it work?
Nathan's gonna make his way. What is the climate, so to speak, inside this building?
A lot of the
social climate, not
yeah. In terms of who's here, or
as in hearing a gunshot outside, or
right.
people
No,
starting
all
to
of
panic.
Yeah, the people. Some have hunkered down. Others are turning to each other and whispering in consternation. There's a brief lull from that choir as they stop and all of them look to each other and then start up again once again in earnest. You see 2 elders beginning to run towards the door, trying to run, holding up cassocks and not cassocks, habits, and desperately trying to make a move as quickly as their rather elaborate garb will allow them.
Alright, so this is the time I'm gonna take my first 2 clicks of my gear that I have. My bandolier of alchemicals, and what is essentially a small handheld portable furnace as my gadget. And it kind of has that unearthly fire look to it. It has instead of it being red and orange, it's blue and green.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to move with very much pomp and circumstance, directly towards the mask at this point. Still kind of, especially with that blue-green flame furnace in my hand. Hopefully people aren't going to question me too much.
I would say whatever you do, at this point you're walking towards the thing with what looks to be, like you say, you're holding a handheld furnace. Desperate action for you, and Omen, you're heading towards the blue coat
have like.
Simon, what are you doing?
I'll just place him within the annoyed annoyed aristocrat. Yeah, just as a really annoyed aristocrat going to a policeman and expecting to be treated well because he is. Good sir. I see you have decided to take my servant and could even say plaything. I'd need her right in a few minutes, and she is separate for other things, but I need her now because I would like.
As soon as you
I
start
want to
talking,
compliment.
I'm going to say, make me a check again. Desperate action.
Just everything's desperate actions today.
What would I use? Sway? I don't know.
Sway is the most likely, yes.
Yeah, burst self. Desperate. Effect. Normal. Standard.
It's standard for sway, yes.
One action. 3.
Oh, as you start talking, he sort of shifts Hestia, pushes her back into a wall, and just sweeps his foot round. And the next thing you know is that there is a crack as you land heavily on a stone floor, as he just takes your knees out from behind you, from underneath you. That would be if you'd like to resist or take armor, that would otherwise be a level 2 harm.
I think
Take armor, so that makes it level 1. Would you like to resist to negate damage?
it would be a prowess.
Prowess, yes. Yeah.
No, I think damage.
Okay, so it's a level 1 harm and bruised back. As the majority of the crack is the armor like smashing into the floor. As his attention is then pushed back to Hestia, as he moves, tries to get you sort of into a darker corner of the sanctorium.
He still done has me.
This was like a really it looked to be a practice move. You also notice sort of under his in his sleeve as well, you sort of see the glint of steel, like he has a knife up there.
Who brings a weapon into a church?
Some question asked by people who are about to find out. At this point, we're going to jump back to Lottie, who outside, through the fog, you see 2 dogs, big Doberman, snarling, salivating as they charge through the undergrowth and tomb and gravestones. Their heads drop down into the dirt again, like picking up a trail as they begin running forwards, and two bluecoats following. Both of them drawing what look to be pepper box style revolvers.
That is gonna scream and shout. They went this way. They're armed. They took a child. And try to look very, very scared and not very in position to be questioned, like really shocked by what happened. Please, you have to help. They took a child. They went this way. They went this way. They were So many of
I'm gonna
them.
say, you can make another desperate action if you want. Desperate actions.
These desperate actions earlier in the series.
Yeah. Can I take a Devil's Bargain on that?
Okay, you can have another one to your die. However, unfortunately, pointing and saying that will only affect blue coats. You can't tell dogs they went that way.
No, I don't speak dogs. So it would be command or sway, maybe?
Command is a good one.
Come on. So it's limited or standard?
Standard.
Standard. And one bonus. Wait. What do I have? Only one die if I.
Oh, did you have another die?
I have 0 dots in command.
Oh,
So
it's the dogs that hunker down and being slinking forward. The second dog is the one that jumps. This thing is incredibly heavy, hits you square in the chest, and goes for straight teeth into your upper arm. And would you like to take armor or resist? Otherwise, this will be a level 3 harm.
can
As
I
the other
take
dog
armor?
goes, yeah, absolutely. Would you like to resist for a level 1 harm as the other dog goes in for your lower leg?
Yep.
So you roll prowess, left-hand column. That will give you a level 1 harm of dog bites and 1 dot stress. Striding towards.
The mask.
What's your
yes.
plan here?
Okay. Well, assuming with all the chaos going on, I'm hoping nobody's gonna get in my way.
Absolutely, yeah. There's
I'm going.
people have certainly seen you though.
Yeah. Well, that's neither here nor there, honestly. I am knowing full well this is also going to hurt me at the end of the day. I'm going to remove one of the alchemical ingredients from my bandolier here, which is basically a highly corrosive acid.
Oof, right, nice.
And I'm not even gonna chance throwing it. Nathan knows full well what he's gonna do and how badly it's going to hurt, so he also is gonna take armor here at this very same point.
Okay.
He's gonna basically palm the acid and slam his hand straight into the glass, shattering the vial, melting the glass, and then he's going to very quickly knock the thing out with any fingers that he has left, essentially. Basically expecting that the acid's going to melt the armor, leaving his hand free of the acid so he can at least get a hold of the mask without damaging it.
Sure. Make me a check.
Tinker?
Again, I'd say probably wreck is the
Tech,
given that
Tinker or
given-
wreck, because it is my alchemical ingredients as well.
Yes, yeah. So either of those works. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do Tinker, I think. You know what? I'll push myself and then do wreck.
Yeah, wreck will have a greater effect, but I'd say
So standard effect or actual greater effect?
greater effects using acid and all sorts of things. This is probably the first.
Okay. Here we go. 4.
Oh,
I'll take it.
it works as expected. However, that acid is incredibly corrosive, and the first thing, as soon as you're through the glass, you feel it burn through the armor. Still gets onto your hands, and the air around you fills with the smell of burning flesh as you take a level 1 harm of burned.
However,
Can I
is
hold
my
that?
hand still capable of handling it without damaging the mask, so to speak?
Oh, absolutely. It's more
Okay.
likely anything that the touching things smarts. It's
Well, ignoring the pain, I'm taking the mask.
and grabbing that. There's cries that go out of people that see this unfold in front of them. Hestia, Omen, what are you doing?
Oof. Okay, so when the blue coat dude turns back to me, my mask is on now. I am full Easter rabbit, and is his attention on Omen anymore?
It's back on you.
Okay.
Omen was like taken out, and don't get involved.
Poor Omen. Okay, we have the thing. We just need an egress.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he is carrying a weapon. You shouldn't carry a weapon in churches, and so I'd like to remove that from him. You know, just safekeeping, pickety pocket it from him.
Okay. For sure. Yeah.
Is that finesse or yeah? That sounds like finesse.
Finesse, certainly. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna push myself.
Go for it.
Okay. Also, go ahead.
So +1 on the roll.
Okay. Is this desperate?
No.
Or
This is no. It's risky, but it's not.
okay, fantastic. Hey, that's mine now.
You see, as he sort of turns, looks down at where it was, and you're able to sort of like flip it around and kind of palm it back to yourself. Nicely done. You see, he lets go and like goes to grab it, and it has gone.
I'd like to Spartan kick him. I guess that's the thing I do now, is Spartan kick him, using Omen, his poor body on the ground as like a tripping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say,
Hill place.
yeah, absolutely. Ooh, do you want to roll for that, or you can? I'd say on the 6, you could probably just do that.
I'd love to just do that. That sounds great.
Absolutely. It's as Omen kind of sees this as you just go forward, straight kick to the chest. It's Omen sort of stands up and just helps him on his way, and there's a crack as he like hits the stone floor. He doesn't have the benefit of being prepared for this as armor, as he sort of like just reaches to his head, which is now trickling with blood, and sort of blinks a little bit, like he's dizzy and slightly delirious.
I just reiterate that you shouldn't. This is what happens when you bring violence ensues. When you bring weapons into a church, you're just asking for violence.
Speaking of violence, Lottie's just.
See here, just close the
okay.
window. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yeah. So speaking of violence, the rest of you beginning to make a hasty retreat outside, and
Nathan, the entire time, to make sure nobody's stopping him, is actually holding up that handheld furnace and the mask in the other hand, just like, I will do it. Just to make sure nobody stops him.
a perceptor begins to make their way towards you, and their sort of hood drawn up in this sort of very ominous purpose, and then they instantly kind of stop there, and just as you back away, it's please don't do anything. As the three of you begin to sort of congregate again in the back and make your way out the door, and outside, Lottie. What would you like to do? As you're able to, as you're fighting, pushing back the dogs, you see your three friends make their way out.
Try to run away again.
You can always bail on a score, which means that you just back out of it yourself and
not quite bail, just get away from the dogs and the blue coats, and still playing the poor frail lady who doesn't understand what's happening. And
okay. So I'm going to say, make me one final check as the blue coats are running, getting ever closer towards those dogs, which you've been able to sort of kick back, and at the moment they're both kind of hunkered down, snarling.
What would it? What could it be?
Finesse, prowl.
Finesse, okay.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled terribly today.
It's as you get away, it's you stand up and begin running, and you're aware that one of the blue coats, the one who's just arrived, is like pulling back the dogs. You turn just to look at him. Yes. As an elder runs out this little side door, and he's come quickly, and you see him kind of torn between chasing you and going inside. Eventually goes with the elder, knowing how much influence he has. But he's seen your face, and that is going to be a more heat on the score. But as you run, those of you, several of you limping, nursing injuries, you see Nathan kind of cradling his hand as the skin has been torn away. And it's as you reach your way back to the streets and heading towards the silver market of Brightstone, you're aware that blue coats are now more heavily mobilizing, all heading towards the Sanctorium and ducking down to various side streets and alleys and the like. You regard your prize. And it's back in Crowsfoot, having taken your time and crept through the night, avoiding the patrols and those search parties, that you open up the door to your hideout. And it's Katerina who greets you from the darkness, almost as if she's been expecting your arrival. That was very sloppy.
I'll say we were successful.
As you hear the distant whistles and barking of bluecoats, it's success is a measure. It's audacious, I'll give you that, but I'll ask you the question, why? What is so important that you went out and tried that?
Okay, so you're using trying verbs, and I need you to use doing verbs because we've done it.
I apologize
question.
for her there.
Question remains, why?
Uh,
I kind of gesture towards Omen.
You apparently have taken a book from the library, Morgdalaine Hall, and I need one of those books. You took them 15 years ago. I need to know who has one of those books, or those books, or whatever else you.
Oh, wow, you're going back a while. So, a 15-year-old robbery. I remember it. Which book?
More notebooks of the arcane and associated studies. I think that was the name you gave me, Jen.
Volume 3, if memory serves.
Yes.
And I know who bought it. I know where it went. And with that... Now, as far as I know, it hasn't moved since. Still in Duskfall. But the dangers that you're now looking at, well, what you just did is going to look like a child's play by comparison if you're looking to get your hands on that little study. I believe it's now in the possession of the Dimmer sisters. There's 3 places that we don't go. Not even the Wraiths go there. One
Would
of them.
would them let us borrow it if we ask nicely?
I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't like to say.
Yeah, so. Good. I'm waiting for her to say that she wants something in return for the information. She says nothing.
No.
See, I told you we were successful. Everything, literally everything worked out.
Nathan kind of clears his throat. Still, however, we do have one very outstanding issue. And he says that very clearly, spinning the mask around with 2 fingers. This is probably the hottest item in Duskfall, right? I'm not sure we should be sitting on it. Much less store it upstairs, right above your fine establishment. It seems like to me, you would be as willing as us to move this item as fast as humanly possible.
I know a couple of people. Forgers. They can make copies. Or failing that, there's always a buyer for something. Private collectors. Who's to say?
So, let's talk business then. I have something in my possession. He spins the mask. You desire it. Let's talk.
What's your asking price?
Oh geez, a question to the table. Anybody got an asking price for this thing? Because I certainly don't.
So like, this building is registered under her name, I assume, right? Like this is
yeah.
her. Say that again.
It's registered under a name.
Right, but like this is her place of business.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be good if it was found here. In general,
That was kind of what Nathan was getting at. Yes.
It seems to me that we at the very least should get paid to make this go away.
Oh, I'm offering. Like I say, I'll take it off your hands. I'm sure we can strike a deal everyone's happy with.
$20 coins.
How about I make you a counter offer? 6 coin, and you don't spend the rest of your lives looking over your shoulders because an unseen, unknown, shadowy organization is coming for you. And you can stay here.
No. Hold on. Well, I'm not a businessman. I feel like if I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be quite honest with, both of you here. Both of your offers are quite literally insane. Obviously, insane in both directions. Let's just be honest with each other here.
Oh, that's the point. You offer something insane, I offer something equally insane, and then we find a point in the middle where everyone's happy.
So let's look at 12 coin, especially if you're able to obtain a forger. The profit you could make off of this is, well, let's be quite honest once again, infinite. Literally printing coin if you are able to find a good enough forger. Have a good enough seller. Let's just put it kindly. If what I've heard is true, this group that I am associated myself with now, and he kind of, it's hard to tell with the mask on, but you can see he has kind of this comical expression on his face saying that he's working with them, is well, maybe not an effective group of thieves, an effective group of con artists. What better to sell forgeries of said mask than a group of, well, skilled con artists?
Well, in that case, I'll offer you 8 coin and a continued working relationship.
Nathan kind of looks over at the other three, since they're definitely more in charge than he is.
8 coin and a new chair. This one. And she like knocks on the chair she's sitting in.
I'm happy with that if you are.
I could Omen extend his sight and see to a ghost field at the mask.
Yeah, it certainly has a presence in the ghost field, but it's more that it's the there's a kind of symbiosis with death. It's not that it's particularly active or anything like that, but there is certainly connotations with it. With a little bit of arcane manipulation, you could probably make it into it probably would work as a spirit mask.
I think Omen will just let the actual criminals discuss about criminal activities.
So are we agreed?
I'm happy. Lottie, thoughts, feels, vibes, more cake.
First. I'd be curious to if you could tell us anything more about the Mary sisters. That's correct.
The Dimmer sisters. You've encountered the Dimmer sisters before. They are the rather strange collective who occupy a house in Night Market, which itself is surrounded by its own lightning barrier, and stories and rumor circulate. But the place has a reputation of being certainly dangerous. Very few people who go in come out again. But how much of it is has grown in like the telling of these stories is always difficult to judge. You could talk to 5 people and hear 5 different answers about who the Dimmer sisters are and what their thing is.
Unfortunately, Nathan doesn't really know this, so this is above the tabletop, but we do have an in with the Demmer sisters, because we did help the one. So maybe this won't go terribly?
Is the weird one with the 2 ghosts?
Yes.
You weren't sure if they were ghosts or what, but they were cloaked figures
Yeah.
with masks. All the same mask. It's a white, almost featureless porcelain mask with a single black teardrop that runs out the left eye.
And we never gave her the thing that we took back, if I remember
There was
correctly.
the item which is now it's been wrapped up in little brown parcel, which is now in the possession of Hestia, and has
So
been for some
We
time.
could just ask them for an exchange. She offered me information last time we saw her, and
It's certainly worth a shot.
what's your question, Morg?
Wait, what's in my possession?
The
The heist that went horribly wrong last time.
you ended up with the little brown parcel from Verity Latisse.
Oh, my BFF.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Sorry, it's been a hot minute. Okay. Well, I was just thinking about Latisse. Do we want to continue having this conversation in front of Katarina?
Realistically, I have a feeling Katarina already knows all of this information, realistically speaking.
I mean, probably. But I still don't like it.
Been nice to us. I don't really see the problem.
Yeah, I don't particularly... Nathan doesn't particularly care. Nathan's probably getting ready to experience a crash if he doesn't get another bump soon, so...
He notices the starting to come down, getting a bit of a headache. It's
Do we try that?
Yeah, hold on. Let me run up and get it real fast. So I'll run upstairs. You can hear like floorboards moving and like chairs and beds scooting. And then there's like hurried footsteps down, and Hestia comes back with the parcel, and also like a large like cake box of like, you know, uranium glass, and you can see like a half-eaten cake on the inside, and it says like you know, happy 8th birthday on it, and I like set it down. It's like, okay, I got it.
Why?
Do you guys?
Why do you have so much birthday-related stuff?
Oh, it's my sister's birthday today. She turned 8. Did I not tell you?
and you celebrated by infuriating half of Dusk. Well, I'm sure she'll remember it.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
How old does Hestia look?
Hestia's like mid-20s, mid to late 20s, ish. You know, she's like well fed, you know, like good looking mama. She's a family girl, and so like also what I get my sister or any of my family for birthday presents isn't any of your concern, Katrina. Like, no one asked you, no one invited you to the party. By the way, Lottie, I wish you would have shown up. I told my mom a work friend would be coming, and so that was embarrassing.
You didn't send me an invite. Yeah.
I certainly did.
I'm sorry.
All right. Shall we get going? I feel like we have a date with a witch, which I'm far more comfortable saying than I probably should be.
Uncle would have had cake.
I make sure to show up next time.
And as you depart, you're aware of the further you get away as well, making your way to night market. The bluecoats begin to thin out, and the inspections aren't quite as heavy as they are further north into the city. And it's sometime later that you arrive at Dimmer Mansion itself, an old building surrounded as it is by the lightning with its own lightning barrier. You're aware that it seems to be built from a converted clock tower. The main spire block itself still has the old clock face sat in it. However, the time is clearly wrong, and the hands haven't moved in years.
You know, I always wondered one thing about this place. Was this built to keep things in or to keep people out? Nathan looks at you with the one eye that he can actually see through. He's still in his outfit. He hasn't changed.
Well, if you're not changing, I'm not changing. Easter Rapid. If we're still doing a bit, Nathan.
Does she actually say that aloud?
What's that?
If we're still doing a bit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not a bit.
You're gonna wear a mask anyway?
I mean, it's mine.
What's the point? What's the point of dressing up like the Wraiths and wearing masks if, like, a mask is already your thing?
It's been years, if you can't tell, since this has actually been used. Nobody's going to really question it all that much. So what if I'm wearing an old uniform?
The uniform part takes her aback, and she's like, do you want cake? I feel bad.
I may take you up on that cake, but first... Nathan starts looking for a way through the lightning barrier.
As if almost by acknowledgement of your presence, it dwindles down momentarily. Through an old rusted gate, you can see a predominantly dead garden. Gnarled trees curl over and almost intertwine with one another, while the thick ivy-like growth kind of snakes over the old cobblestones, over the old flagstones that once made up the path leading towards the front door.
After you.
And moves through.
This.
And as you step through, walking down the path, there's the blue glow from behind you as the lightning barrier once again fires up and closes the location up again, once again to the outside world. And walking up the steps towards the front door, the door, as you approach, just clicks and swings open a few inches.
I enter.
Into a long corridor. Doors line the walls on either side, and there's old peeling wallpaper that's also that's over which are multiple portraits and various keepsakes, decorative vases, and a couple of display cases of items of particular interest, especially to the arcane mind owner.
And do these mean anything to you?
I'm already lost in just looking and reading and studying any of the things.
There's a 300-year-old ghost jar, which away from like the almost crystalline modern designs that you're used to, it's much more of a almost like a funeral urn, but made from a very, very heavy, dense iron. There's old spirit masks, again, crudely forged. All different. It's more old versions of the materials that you now keep it regularly in your possession.
I assume I've seen something like this.
You see, it's essentially they're a little private museum. At least that's what it seems to be.
After a few minutes, did someone ask anything? No?
Is it well taken care of, this hallway?
The floor is dusty. There are cobwebs, and like I say, the wallpaper is peeling. But the actual furnishings seem to be well kept.
Okay, so there's some pride taken here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a relatively nice chair somewhere.
Chair sense tingling.
There's a kind of one of those sort of almost corner chairs with the curved back, which has just been set up beside one door.
So I assume they knew that we're coming. And so like I will call out like, hello, delivery.
Come to
Hello?
parlay.
You. I'm gonna say make me a check on this one.
Is that a sway?
Or a consort?
Oh, I would love to consort.
Also, not for the me shouting it's, the parlay thing, but can I also roll a tune just so I can get a sense of this place?
Absolutely.
I probably could I retroactively have done 5 minutes ago, looking at the stuff around me.
Absolutely, you can teamwork that if you like.
What's your attune?
Hey,
Yeah, I'm asking you because I think you should lead it, just because I'm pretty full on stress.
finally. Jag risker standard prova.
Yep.
3.
Oh,
I got a 6, so
you
Okay,
got
good.
you got the 6, but you take 1 stress for the failed roll there. The Hestia, how did you do on your?
I was gonna wait for the attune rolls. I'm gonna roll right now. Do I get a +1 for bringing cake?
Unfortunately not, no.
All right,
Um,
that's a 5.
As the other two almost shift the way they perceive the world, you see that the old cracked lens almost seems to glow from behind it, and smoke seems to escape from a couple of the small the small gaps in between the various rivets of the mask. There is a lot of strangeness to this place. It's looking around. The more you see it, the more you see parts of it seem to exist, almost entwined with the ghost field. And at the end of a corridor, as you call out, you see a figure just cross over from one door and go into another. Doesn't seem to pay you any heed.
Hello, hey, please. We're here. We've come back.
And as you say that, a door, a little bit ahead and to the right, just again does the same as that front door and just clicks open a bit.
This is the worst, you guys. I thought... Come on, and I'll hold the door open for everyone. And just like... I'll step through and hold the door. I'm not gonna like make them go first.
Probably with Nathan and Omen taking up the back. Nathan's gonna kind of lean over and go, from a completely academic standpoint, on a rating of 1 to 10, how bad of an idea was it actually for me to show up wearing a Spirit Warden's robe and mask?
Who are you talking to?
Omen.
I do not know that was enough. Let's see. Take off the mask. Something I'm really robes. Take off the robe. Just in case. So let's say a 7.
Nathan kind of nods and goes into the room.
And as you step inside, you all find yourself on the top floor balcony of a gallery, which shouldn't make sense because you are on the ground floor and you are quite clearly looking down onto the ground floor.
That's interesting.
What are we looking down onto?
It's a sort of gallery type building. It's similar to the corridor, but obviously a lot more open. There is a very, very large dining table that runs the center with room for probably 20, 25 people around it, and laid for an elaborate feast, but covered itself in multiple all the silverware and the sort of bowl covers, all covered in layers of dust and cobwebs.
You got my hopes up here. Okay, hello? Anyone? Sisters?
Turning around, the door itself swings shut, and carved into the back of it, in scraped letters as if engraved with a knife hastily, it reads, "The house will decide." And we shall leave it there. Thank you all for joining us. And hopefully catch you again very soon.
In Season 3.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Blades in the Dark, What Happens in the Dusk, part of the Domain Gaming, written and told by Wyverian and Livespark. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, remember the first rule of a con. Offer them everything for nothing, and give them nothing for everything.